For the last decade, the prospect of putting American boots on Iranian soil has been a political no-go zone. The memories of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan effectively turned ground deployments into a red line. But those boundaries are shifting as the conflict moves toward a new, more direct phase. Right now, an amphibious landing ship carrying 2,000 Marines is moving toward West Asia. These vessels are designed for a single purpose: capturing enemy land. This deployment is only one part of the broader strategy. President Donald Trump is currently reviewing reports on sending thousands of additional ground troops to the region to provide the administration with new military options. While military planners have presented these options to the White House, the historical cost of the last 20 years makes any ground-based escalation a significant political gamble. The first plan focuses on the Strait of Hormuz. In this scenario, the U.S. Navy and Air Force would secure the waterway, while American soldiers would be deployed along the Gulf Coast to control the shoreline. A second option targets Kharg Island, a facility that processes nearly 90% of Iran's crude exports. Capturing the island would effectively sever the regime's economic lifeline, turning its most valuable asset into a bargaining chip. The most sensitive objective is the extraction of Iran's 440-kilogram stockpile of 60% enriched uranium. 60% enrichment is a technical threshold that leaves the uranium just a short step away from being weapons-grade. Most of this material is stored deep within a tunnel complex in Isfahan, a city in central Iran. To reach that stockpile, planners say 1,000 Special Forces soldiers must be deployed. It would be the largest special operations mission in military history. While the first two options focus on the edges of the country, the mission in Isfahan requires a deep inland insertion. It's the kind of operation that risks turning a targeted strike into the very endless war the U.S. has spent a decade trying to avoid. Despite the activity inside the Pentagon, the prospect of a ground invasion has failed to gain traction with the American public. Opposition to the move is visible across the entire political spectrum. Data shows the scale of resistance. 60% of Americans oppose sending soldiers into Iran, compared to just 12% supporting it. Within the president's own party, support is even lower. Among Republicans, 38% are actively opposed, 35% are unsure, and only 27% support ground deployments. That internal split is being driven by influential media voices. Figures like Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan have already voiced their criticism, further complicating the political path for the administration. For a president who campaigned on the promise of ending forever wars, authorized ground troops in Iran would mean a total departure from his core political brand. The tactical risks are just as steep. Isfahan is located in the center of Iran, hundreds of miles from the coast. Dropping American soldiers into the heart of a major city that deep inside hostile territory creates an immense logistical challenge. These challenges are underscored by a recent report from the U.S. intelligence community. Intel Chief Tulsi Gabbard told Congress that while recent strikes have degraded Iran's capabilities, the regime and its strategic leadership remain largely intact. U.S. warships have avoided entering the Persian Gulf to stay out of range of Iranian threats. Yet the ground plans under consideration would require those same ships to approach the coastline to drop off Marine units. The gap between the official rhetoric of military dominance and the reality of a resilient enemy suggests that any ground operation would be facing a much more capable force than the public has been led to believe. Official briefings from the Pentagon have become a regular ritual of confidence and insults directed at the adversary. But the actual theater of war is proving to be far less predictable. This is the USS Gerald Ford, the largest aircraft carrier in the world. After being deployed to the Red Sea, the ship has been forced to leave the war zone and sail back to a port in Greece. A fire broke out in the ship's main laundry area and burned for 30 hours. The smoke and damage displaced 600 sailors, leaving them to sleep on floors and tables. Without the ability to house its crew, the most advanced ship in the U.S. Navy had no choice but to retreat. Iran is operating from its own soil, but the U.S. is attempting to project power over 6,000 kilometers away. At that distance, even a minor fire in a laundry room is enough to remove a billion-dollar asset from the map. If a single ship can be sidelined by its own laundry, the risks facing 1,000 soldiers dropped into the heart of a degraded but intact enemy are almost impossible to calculate.